Hey, it's Mark here from Stock Pursuit and the Twitter X account. Thanks for watching the video. So let's jump right into some charts here. The first one is BKKT. This one is in the digital asset crypto space. They have a history of trading that goes back, at least a few years, and they always had a stock price that would spike up a lot and come back down, like back in 2021. It had a really quick spike, supernova that came down, and a lot of little mini spikes too over the years. I mean, we look back, you know, stocks had a lot of trouble for years, and I remember it's been one of those stocks that's always got a high short interest. So what's done lately is it did another one of those spikes, of course, with the sector, and then it definitely looks like a spike top up there where it spiked up and then quickly reversed. And then it had all these big levels right there that it took out and then back down into 150, 140 is another big level. And it's right on that. It maybe even went below it, if we consider that 150 is a level there on that spike. So it looks like the more I look at this chart actually that about 151, 150. Yeah, because it closed at 150 on that day. Is the 150 area was the big support area. So that just got taken out today. So I imagine the shorts are really piling into this one again. But regardless, the whole industry has been taking a hit past couple weeks here, with all these crypto miners down too. I don't know a lot about this company specifically, like what their business is, but it's in that space, so it's been getting assaulted along with the other ones. So the levels are just so clear. I think this one's a good short or long puts set up here if it continues to break down. So if it goes below that 142 and even mid 40s, it goes down. If it's down at all tomorrow, it looks like a good short setup on that one. And let's just look at some other ones since we're talking about them. The big ones on my watch list that were down a lot was the CIFR, and that one still has support at about 270s area, 270. But the BKKT has already taken out a lot of support. And BITF is down too. That one was up a lot. I think I talked about that one in my previous video. But the setup on BKKT is just probably one of the better looking ones that I saw in that industry. It's got a long way to go down until it hits the next support level, which is about 80 cents. So there's still a lot of downside there, if it keeps downtrending, which it looks like it will. If it's not going to catch any support here, it may just turn into what these charging stocks have been doing the past year. But we'll see what happens. The sell-off in these miners has been pretty forceful compared to Bitcoin even. I mean, it's normal for Bitcoin to have a sell-off, or high percentage change in the day, but the way these miners have come down off the highs just pretty forcefully makes it look like there's going to be some more downside. Even some of the more popular names here, like Mara and Riot, there's huge influx of selling pressure a couple days ago. Even to me, it seems even more strong than the sell-off in Bitcoin itself. I mean, because the sell-off in Bitcoin was it's a pretty normal kind of consolidation that day it had the other day. Even though it was down a lot over 2 days, it held trend support just until today, really, and it even reversed off of today, off to the lowest today. So those are one of the things I've been watching, especially that BKKT. And the other one that I've been tweeting or posting a lot on X about is the shot, and it's gotten shot again when it broke through that level there. And I've been following this one for a long time, like even back right after the downtrend broke, these downtrends. So it did like a ascending descending triangle there, and that pennant was pretty strong. The selling pressure, so that level I've been talking about for a while now, still holding. Like it never really made a comeback to that level. Like a lot of times, stock will break down below level and try to quickly come back and retest it, but there wasn't even really a retest attempt because that day, the day here, was just kind of flat. Didn't even come back up the next day. So I'm long these puts just for disclosure. I've got shot puts. I got puts on. So it's kind of been going as good as it could go, really. like I like I talked about before. I thought it was going to be like a slow fade, but it's had some pretty good percentage declines every day, almost every day now for a week or so. And the big levels are coming up now on these charging stocks too. And I've been talking about shorting these for a long time, and I've been shorting them with puts for months now. Uh, I've been really onto these, the past year. So these continue to be weak, and it's right up on a big level again. It took out the biggest level there, and it's got this little weaker level at about 179, 180. It found a lot of support there in the past, 179, 180. So it's literally right on that next level. It actually broke below it today by a penny. We'll see if that holds. It very well just may continue lower day after day, like the shot. And the BLNK was another good dropper today. I've got puts in this one too, and it's literally right up on the next level. So we'll see what it does here. I mean, it could decide to hold that level, or it may just break through it. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it just takes it out, and like it did back here when it hit a level, it just slammed right through and just down for the next month. So we'll see what that one does too. I'm still long puts. I'm in the weeklies in this one, so these expire on the end of the week. So if it starts to hold up there, I'm just gonna lock those in. I'll probably lock it in tomorrow anyway. We'll see. Especially if it looks like it's gonna hold that level. And the other thing I noticed was oils continues to be weak. And it's really not able to get any momentum to the upside here. It's just still range bound, and it looks like just off USO, it's gonna come back down again to the next next level, which is like 64, 65. XLE is actually is even weaker today. The XLE, the energy sector, was down a lot today. It's pretty similar to that day. Just by looking at the candle, the percentage move, percentage-wise, was about as strong as it was on that failed signal up there where it tried to break out and then quickly reversed. So it very well may just go range bound and could catch support, and we just keep, because it's been going range bound pretty much since October, early October almost, and I wouldn't be surprised if it does continue to go sideways, but it may just start to take out some more support here and continue lower. So we'll see. I don't have any oil trades on. I just had that rig trade that I had the other week, and the rig puts, and rig just continues down too, with this channel still being relevant that I've been talking about on the rig. It's just trading in this downward channel and just cracked through another support level. And the rig just been really correlated with the XLE and crude oil to an extent. And AMC is still weak too. It looks like the shorts are in control, and it's definitely some significant selling pressure is keeping this one in, you know, a really steady downtrend. My hunch is it eventually will go sideways again, but the downside just keeps getting taken out here. And I went through some scans. I didn't see a lot of biotechs up today, but there were a couple. Like, just going through the scans here, there was the ANIX was up, was a breakout. So this one was up on a short-term breakout, ANIX. Did that kind of long bull flag. And there was one more that looked kind of interesting. Did the ALRN. That one sounds familiar, like I've seen that one before. Has some runs. So let's see the history on this one, see if it, yeah, it actually, it has a history of some runs. Well, back in 2020, so that doesn't really say a lot, but it can move. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one takes out 540 or more. It's kind of got that NKTX chart going where it had that big spike day, and then just kind of slowly uptrended. So the NKTX is one that I found not long after that spike day, because it did it back here, which was, you know, a huge, large percentage move, and then just kind of did that flag, and then instead of, you know, doing a quick reversal off the flag, it just kind of steadily uptrended, and that steadily uptrend turned into another spike. So the ALRN looks like a similar kind of thing going here, where you see that big spike and then it just flags and slowly uptrends. It looks like this one's going quicker, like the uptrend is acting more like it was coming off a bull flag. So we've got channel support right there. So the technicals on this one are still looking really good too on the ALRN. And that was even today with, you know, a lot of stocks down overall. The other one I've been talking about was the SWVL, and this one, I was looking for the top to come in, and looks like it finally topped out there because it had that big first red day on the supernova here, and the uptrend momentum's broken. So this one looks broken now. The way it came up off the lows today is kind of makes me think it's going to be choppy. I mean, it is choppy now off the bearish engulfing candle up there at the top. But that bearish engulfing candle is pretty strong, so and it traded about 1.1 shares on that possible top day. So it traded 3 million shares on one of these run days earlier. I'm not sure that was enough volume. It was a significant amount of volume though, but usually the way you can tell these smaller cap and lower price stocks are done running is the volume on the sell side is pretty significant. There's just a lot of selling pressure. That could have been it. I'm not sure. Like, looks like it may just get choppy, or they could try to blow through that again. We'll see. but it's gonna be better. It's better to trade on a breakdown. So it's got to come back below 450, 450 or so. There's not much else I saw. We know semis are up, so I'll do some Nvidia analysis really quickly. So Nvidia had that really long trading range since July and summer, and it hasn't really been able to get out of it until recently. But it finally did forcefully break through that upper resistance level there. And it looks like it's off to the races now. And it's not even going to retest. So, very strong chart, not surprising with all the AI spending that's going on. And I put a link to that in my X account. Just the sheer massive spending that's going on in AI now. There's actually a repost. Yeah, basically the AI spending is going to be about half a trillion dollars, not far from now. So UBS is predicting the AI industry revenue to grow to about 420 billion by 2027. So it's really only 4 years away, and they increased that from 300 billion not long ago. So that's from Beth Kindig on Twitter X. So I really wouldn't be surprised if it's even more than that because they keep revising it. So there may be more coming even, which some people were caught off guard with, but those of us that have seen other tech booms in the past, like I remember the internet tech boom really well. So I was a teenager during that time, and in the mid 90s, I was a teenager, and then after the internet, there was the e-commerce boom in the early 2000s. Just sometimes it doesn't stop for a long time, even when there is a boom. The bubbles aren't always quick, and the bubble in the 90s took 5, 6, at least 6 years to develop. So if you say around the mid 90s was when the consumers first got internet access, or a lot of them did, then it took at least 5 years for that bubble to break. But it didn't really stop. It just kind of merged into other things, like e-commerce and social media. And social media is big too. So there'll be things that will shoot off of AI spending. Once these AI agents become more proliferated, and there's going to be other industries that'll pop up too, like sub-industries, just like they did with the internet. So it's not over yet, even if it seems like it may be in a year or two. There's going to be more and more things that come. So it's definitely a lot of opportunity in tech, and I still see opportunity in healthcare. So let's look at one more ETF, the VHT, which has been remarkably strong compared to what the market's been doing. This healthcare index ETF. So it's still got this trend support here. It's coming up back down to it finally. And the relative strength on this ETF was really strong versus, especially like small cap stocks and some of the other indices. So it looks pretty good still here on this one. And let's look at the S&P 500 real quick with ES. So yeah, it's still hanging in there on that resistance level. And this resistance level goes way back. It's like the top back in like 2021 area. So the way it's looking, it may hold, it may not. But the longer it holds up here, the more chance it has to hold it. Like I said before, like the most obvious tops are where it spikes up and then quickly reverses. where but right here it's holding up. It's kind of just it could be a consolidation where it's just getting ready to break out again, kind of like Nvidia did. The fact that Nvidia can still break out, it very well may lead some other things higher. And we'll look at the Nasdaq real quick too. Not as strong as Nvidia, of course, but it's still hanging in there too. It's still near the highs, but it's really at risk of breakdown there off this little pennant there. It's got this little triangular pennant going right now. So this is what I'd watch, that level there. So pretty much tomorrow, the next day, it's gonna probably do something, but hasn't really done much the past few days. So it definitely looks like it could go lower because it doesn't seem like it's gonna break higher and test the highs, but we'll have to wait and see. And of course, the Russell small caps are still looking pretty weak. They're at a big level, and I was just looking at this level on RTY. It's the final level that's here, the final big level, because we broke through the top levels. That top level, let's just blow it up here. So that red line was the first one, and then that teal line was the second major level. So we broke through that, and then the blue line was the next level that I found. And the blue one was pretty good because it went back to those 2022 two levels early in the year. Of course, it's not as big as the other ones, but it's definitely a level there. And it's kind of been trying to hold that when it looks like it's finally breaking through, and it appears to be doing that in the overnight session already. So not looking good, and we've got some down channel there, just a big down channel. So yeah, that's the level to watch right now, is that blue one. And if it takes that one out, which it looks like it is, the next step is 1740, 1730, and then 1600s. So there very well may be a disconnect between these small caps and Nasdaq. And Apple's been pretty important too. Like, Apple was really weak at the time the market was selling off. So because Apple had that really, really strong sell-off and gap down. So that is a bear flag. It just broke off a bear flag today, so looks pretty bearish, pretty weak. There's not really a huge level here. That's the next level there. Yeah, it just tested off of it. So these are the levels on Apple. And it looks like it doesn't really consolidate much around levels. It just either holds or breaks down. So we'll see what it does tomorrow. If it breaks through this level, looks pretty bearish for the Nasdaq. And the fact that Apple's down, the Nasdaq's held the highs more, just looking at it here visually. But it's so choppy. We very well we may be in a sideways action for a while here. But we'll see. Like, if we start breaking below this level here in the next this week, look out below. It could be more sell-off coming for the Nasdaq. We'll see. It's interesting to see the mix between the large stocks like Nvidia and Apple. But the move in Nvidia just tells you how really strong the AI spending's been, and how many companies are really starting to get aggressive when they're and ramping up their LLMs. I mean, we haven't even seen the smaller companies, adopt LLMs yet. I mean, with same thing with the internet, it took a long time for companies to get a website. Small business mom and pop shops. Like your average business owner is not really aware of what they can do with an LLM yet or a chatbot. And they're, I would say they're almost all the way to being, good sales agents. For especially in like chat. So, and I've already heard stories. People using like LLM chatbots to sell or set appointments. I mean, you could easily set an appointment with an LLM on your website with a chatbot. So once the small business owners realize that, there's going to be even more opportunity in that space. But I'll just leave it at that because we touched on a lot of things here. So I didn't see anything great in the scans, but if I do see something really interesting, I'll post it up on my X account. And until next time, I'll catch you later.